Hello, what we're going to be covering in this video is lesson 2.7 from App Development with Swift, which covers Introduction to UIKit. The video is part of a lecture that was recorded in spring of 2019. This is just an overview of some of the controls and objects that you can use in your applications. We're going to be using some of those controls and modules throughout the semester. But some of them you won't be working with until CIS 265. So basically, when you create an application, it's usually there's various different views within your application. What we have here is we just have a screenshot. Can I not get my mouse to the screen on here? I guess I can't when it's here. What we have is we have a screenshot, and it just shows you the layers of the various views that get created when you create applications. So this is kind of foreign to you now, but as you use some of those controls and views, it'll make a lot more sense. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next couple of labs, and then also in unit number 3. So the first view that is the actual view itself, and what this slide is showing is some of the properties that you can go ahead and change. I think one of the properties that we changed in the view in the past was actually the background color for the view. So this just shows you some of the various properties and what they actually do when you go ahead and update it. We're going to be working a lot with labels. That's probably one of the most common controls we're going to be going ahead, or common objects we're going to be adding into our onto our main storyboard. So what we have here is the little piece highlighted in orange is actually a label, and what labels do is they show text that cannot be updated. So it could be in directions to the user. It could be other information. If you're asking for input, like a user wanting to enter their user ID and password, you could have a label to show where that information should go into. And we're going to be using labels quite a bit, so we'll just move on to the next control. The next control is an image view. We're going to be talking about those in the next exercise that we go ahead and complete. The next one is a text view, and basically there's either a text field and a text view. And when you're using text fields and text views, that's where a user would actually enter information. So an example where you would use a text view is if you created some type of notes application where the user wants to go in and type a large message that's multi-line. So a text view, you're able to type in a various amount of text, whereas in a text field, you're probably looking at only one line of text that you wanted inputted. The next one is a scroll view. We're going to be talking about those in 265, and basically what scroll views allow you to is they allow you to add scroll bars, and then you could go ahead and scroll down or scroll to the right. So that is a scroll view. Some of the, especially the table view, which we're going to talk about next, is basically a child of the scroll view. So all that scroll view functionality is built into a table view. So table views are probably, you see those in quite a few different apps where you actually go in and set up a table where it's an easy way to go in and actually lay out all the objects that you want in your application. So this is a view of sounds. If you go through a lot of the various settings that are available in the settings group. Most of those are table views. Your contact list is a table view. So you're going to use table views quite a bit. We don't cover them in this class in 165, but we cover them in 265. There's actually 2 chapters where we get into creating table views. And then what it shows to the right are just some of the attributes in a table view and in a table view cell that you can go ahead and set and customize. And don't let the number scare you. Basically, you probably focus on 5 or 6 of those different attributes when you're updating attributes. Toolbars are down on the bottom, usually found on the bottom of the screen. And what they do is they give you access to other tools that you can associate with that app. So in this way, we have an upload tool, we have a trash can tool. This looks like a photo app where you can go ahead and trash your photos or go ahead and upload your photos. So the toolbars are on the bottom, and they're fairly easy to go ahead and set up. Navigation bars, you'll see navigation bars at the top of most of your applications, and basically what they do is they provide you the ability to navigate back to the previous screen or move on to a new screen. So again, I think we might cover a few of the basics of navigation bars in in Unit 3. Tab bars are a way that you can go to different views within your application. So you can go ahead and customize the tab bar, lay out the various tab bars for you. And then what we have here is we have a Skywalker 2 application, and down below is how you would go in and navigate through some of those applications under the apps store. So you can go ahead, check out the ones that are available today, look at games, look at apps, see what updates you need to make, and go ahead and search for apps. And some of the controls we're going to use buttons quite a bit to go ahead and control our applications. We have a couple buttons up on top and then 3 next to each other. And this is just taken from an application that, it must be Wikipedia's application. Segmented controls, you've probably seen these. You see them a lot. I think any type of mapping application, the Google Maps has segmented controls, and they're very similar to buttons that are next to each other. So if you click on transit, you'll go to a different screen, and if you click on satellite, it usually provides you with a satellite view of that location versus a map view. Text fields, we're going to use text fields quite a bit. Basically, again, text fields are used to allow your user to go ahead and actually enter information into your application. And one of the properties that we're going to probably talk about a little bit later on is the placeholder text. So if you look at the middle name, and then you kind of see the optional that's kind of in gray text right there. Basically what that is it's placeholder text. So it kind of guides the user. When they actually go in to type, it disappears, but it lets the user know what they should be inputting into those text boxes. So in this example here, they're just letting the user know that it's optional as far as adding a middle name. So for your text boxes, you can go ahead and define placeholders for each one of the text boxes that you create, or you don't have to. It's totally up to you in your app design.
The drop down, I'm assuming we don't get to those now. We'll get to those
when we start working with them, right?
So it's not this class's issue then.
We're actually going to be the drop downs.
So for example, give a box like, not referring to the first, last, middle name, but give a different box you're supposed to enter.
Yep.
And often on some applications, you can click a little arrow button and it'll drop down your choices and you can select one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're not going to be covering that in this class.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We will be covering that in 265, but not this
My
one.
question was though, I know in other languages, they put a placeholder as the first entry on the drop down.
Mm-hmm.
And it will say date of birth or, it's informational just like that.
Right. Yeah.
I was just curious.
Mm-hmm. And then sliders, you can use those. I know you use them to set sound alerts and stuff like that, louder or not as loud. So in the second app that we're going to be creating today, we're going to be adding some of these controls onto the app so you can see how they actually work. The next one is a switch. Basically, that's on or off. You turn something on or off. So we're going to be adding a switch to that application that we create. Date pickers, they're kind of fun to use. Basically, you can go in. I like spinning the dates and setting them when you create applications, but we do go into quite a detailed application in CIS 265 where we add in date pickers for, I think what it is, it's for a hotel application where you're creating an application where the clerks can check people in. And it's really neat because what we end up doing is you set the date picker so the checkout date, the check-in date cannot be, it has to be the current date. You can't move back on the date picker, and the checkout date advances to the next day, so you can't select the same date for the checkout date. And the other the cool thing, some of the functionality that if you change the check-in date, then the checkout date automatically changes. So, and a lot of defaults, you can go in and set what your defaults are, your minimum date, maximum date, locale, date and time, or just date for the picker. And there's tons of documentation out on the Apple developer site that goes into the UIKit user interface catalog. So we kind of just, even in 265, there's so much material out there that we're just we skim the surface is what is available for you.